Well, good morning, everybody. Get my notes up here on the screen so I can see what I'm talking about today. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Esoteric Influences for the 14th day of August 2020. Well, we have a 5 energy for today, and I'm holding the rune up here. We have a 5 energy for today, but if you have a 5 life path, if you're one of those folks, I have a 9 myself, but if you have a 5 life path, you like to be involved in many things. You can motivate others. You're kind of inspirational. You like change. Not everybody does, and you enjoy a sense of freedom. However, with the pandemic, you got to kind of curb some of that. And how you express that maybe, especially the freedom aspects of it, because you're going to want to protect self and others today if you need to leave the house, following established safety guidelines while we're still in this pandemic. Be aware that any circumstances, or be aware of any circumstances that could impact a safe experience. If you're out there and you're around people that aren't wearing a mask, then leave. I don't know what else to say here. It's so vital now that we get through this, and as long as people continue to run around without masks on, and I don't care whether it's inside or outside, as long as you guys do that, well, I don't know. We're going to be here for a very long time, and a lot of people are going to get harmed in it that didn't need to, or worse. So just please, please, please wear a mask if you go out today, and don't make people have to worry, all right? About what's happening to them at your hands, basically. Today's rune is Yira from the Elder Futhark. It's basically Kenaz, forward and reversed. It's an as above, so below rune, an earth element rune. Talks about give and take, cycles. It's also an herbalism and gardening rune. Unfolding awareness, energetic alignment. It means the year. It suggests fertility. And also means transformation. And I think right now, transformation of perception is probably what's most important. So we're going to allow the light of spirit to transmute ego into spirit so that you strike an integrative balance today with others and understand the effect of your actions on the desired outcome. And again, with that 5 energy today for the numerology, if you're somebody, again, who likes to do it, to go it alone and do your own thing and inspire others into the path of shared purpose and shared direction and shared safety, shared commitment. I realize it can be annoying to have to go do this, but all the time, but for the amount of time that you're probably going to be in a mask, at any given time, it's just not enough to be arguing about it, I don't think. I think our health is too important. The health of our children is too important. I know we have people in the federal government saying that, they're just fine. They don't pass this. It's a lie. Okay, it's just a lie. We're going to come to that when we get to the human design section of the chart. So, anyway, the moon, however, is going to transition at 4:36 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, my time here, from Gemini to Cancer. So we're going to balance assertiveness, which is the moon sextile Mars, with a practical approach to new experiences, which is the moon in conjunct Saturn. As the moon travels into Cancer later on in the afternoon, you might need some nurturing from close friends or family. That's the moon conjunct Venus. But it's that transition between chatty Gemini to maybe a little more inner approach with Cancer. So remember that today. That again, depending on where you are, 4:36 p.m. my time. Moving on to the human design part of this now. I mentioned that that lying is going to, and deception is going to be part of this today, and it will be. With the sun at here's the thing with the human design chart. Yeah, it looks funny. There's a circle around it and all of that, but it's not the same kind of astrological chart that you normally see in an astrology chart. There you're looking at house placement and cusps and intersections and duplications and all the different things that you can be looking at on an astrological chart. But instead what you have is the planets are interacting with the positions of the I Ching. Now, why that? Well, there's 64 hexagrams that sort of correspond with the 64 codons of the DNA sequence, right? So the I Ching is a little more than you realize. It's one of the oldest divination forms, but you know, it sort of corresponds with our DNA. So it's a very powerful tool to use, and for these folks for Ra-Uru Hu to have integrated this together like he did to create the human design system, it's really the mechanics of the energy within the body, both about 88 days before birth, and also because there's one set of numbers that get created from that time, and then also you get, that's the design aspect of it, and then the personality aspect is moment of birth. And so you're looking at two different influences, a more design unconscious influence that we may never really even realize, some of it anyway, some of it we do, but the personality, that's the side where we're dealing with really the illusion of form and who we think we are. The design side is who we actually are, but the personality is who we think we are. And so when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at the personality side of things, and for the particular day, and depending on where the planets are placed, they're placed at, you know, you've got basically this is gate 11, okay? So it'd be the same thing as the I Ching hexagram 11 or Gua 11, and it's peace. And then you could have and ideas and all of that, but it's a reflective kind of an energy, right? If the sun were there, we would have 6 different options of which little line that it might appear at, okay? It could appear at attunement, rigor, the realist, the teacher, the philanthropist, or all the way up to line 6, adaptability. Well, that's not what we're at today. What we're at today is the gate of the liar, the gate and line of the liar. So, and again, you know, it kind of feels like we're always there every single day, because all we get from the impeached one now is lies. That's all we've ever gotten are lies. And so with when I looked at today's chart for the transit chart, and which is the same thing as the personality side, basically, with the sun at the gate of the liar. So societal needs are in focus today as the impeached one once again resorts to lying to prevent change from taking hold. However, if you pay close attention, you'll find that he confesses each time he speaks, telegraphing his nefarious plans to all. He's very transparent. In his need to deceive, he is extraordinarily transparent because he tells you everything he's going to do. In martial arts, we call that telegraphing your position, telegraphing your next move. You know, you can see it the minute you start to see that arm come up, especially if the person is dumb enough to pull it back before they punch, right? They telegraph their move. You know, the punch is coming, right? If it moves from point of origin, you don't necessarily see it because the depth perception affects the whole thing, right? And so if you bring it from point of origin and go straight in, you don't necessarily see it coming and you can't react as quickly, right? Well, this guy haymakers you the whole time. You see it coming. You know what he's doing. You know what it's about. He thinks he's being cagey. He's not. He's like the emperor with no clothes, right? So with Jupiter still positioned at the gate of enlightenment and endarkenment, which is like the Alpha and Omega, we stand at the precipice, in the middle of that, of a new path forward. But as dark forces continue to impact the country, and in turn each one of us, as more truth is revealed, the time to act will become clear. May or may not happen before November, before the election, or it may be referring to the election there. But it doesn't mean that we can't stay aware and focused on what's going on, so that we know what's going on, basically. Stay present and remain focused on a more respectful and honorable outcome for all. Our rights are being affected with the post office, what he's doing to that. Apparently, we saw pictures here in Oregon yesterday, because I guess he's starting everything in Oregon now. We saw pictures of them removing, and it was the postal folks, removing the blue mailboxes that are around in communities. I guess someone said that they're targeting Eugene and Portland, because they're the bluest areas, and is what the theory is. But we'll see. I would suspect that this is going to happen in other states as well. But the thing is we're going to get through this. And he isn't going to win this. you cannot subvert everything just to keep yourself in power. That's not how this is set up. Now, it's true that the stumbling block to this has always been the Senate GOP. All right, had they done their job, he'd have been gone by now. He would have gone, what, when did they meet? February? Is that when they did it? Yeah, where they sold out the country basically for whatever he's got on him or whatever this is, because I don't know what this is. It seems like maybe it's a bunch of different things. Maybe he's got stuff on some of them. Maybe some of them are just terrified that they won't get back into office or whatever. I don't, because once they get in, they never want to leave, right? I don't know. There really should be term limits. There really should. Otherwise, I think it just sets people, I think it sets the country up for what we're dealing with now. We've got to really look at this too. We really, really do. And understand the as above, so below nature and the integrative nature of who we are together. And understand that if we don't have some kind of a balance, I mean, we can't go forward at all. And I think that what you're seeing in society now is the birth pangs of something new with ascension. I mean, call it ascension if you want to. I think you've got those energies coming into play. But all that means is that we begin to understand that we're actually spirit inhabiting these bodies. It's not a journey back to the Creator. We're aspects of the Creator. We just got to remember that. And people are remembering it now. They know who they are. They know the bigger purpose. They know the shared experience that this truly all is. And if we were to function along those lines from the standpoint of spirit instead of ego, we would see a very different world. And that's the point of ascension, to bring us up to that. The planetary frequency is rising, so is ours. And all the children that are being born now are incredible. I just look at my grandkids. It's like, oh my God. It's a different world. We saw it with our own children. That transition in thought and the way they think of just the way they think about things, is different. There's an egalitarianness to them that underlies everything. And so you're going to see even more of that with children that are being born now. Call them starseeds, call them more enlightened, whatever you want to call them. That's what we're looking toward. More crystalline structure versus what we have now. That's what happens when the frequency rises. So lots of changes in the future, but right now we just got to make it to the election in one piece, with the postal service still there for us, not being dismantled, right? Yeah, this is nuts. This is just nuts. So stay focused, stay vigilant, stay aligned, stay safe today, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Have a good Friday. Be good to yourself. Be good to one another. Wear a mask if you go out, and hold your children close to you. Protect them. Protect them from this man. Protect them from the impeached one. You're the only people between your child and that madman. And blessed be.